Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I won't make this a long video. I've got coaching duties I can get back to, but I wanted to try to hop on. This news broke about, I will say, a half hour ago, roughly around there, maybe 20 minutes ago, whenever it was. I tried to try to get a hall pass to get out of coaching stuff for a minute to come over here and talk to you guys and move offices. But here it is. As we talked about on Lions Talk Live, I don't even remember now. We'll say 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. We had some tidbits of information that Gardner-Johnson was being pushed by the Detroit Lions to make a return. They set a deadline by the Cowboys game, which, don't hold me to this because I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I want to say it's right around the 24th. And what do you know? Gardner-Johnson, about a couple days later, started putting out notices that his plan to return. He kept, giving kind of tidbits here and there that about the 20th. And, he wasn't committing anything on social media, what it was. But what we now know is he's back. He's a part of the team. He's going to be out there. And it looks like he'll be returning in play for the Minnesota Vikings first game, not the last one of the regular season, which I know had also been speculated about. This is just growing evidence that perhaps the future isn't as doom and gloom as all of us thought. Frank Ragnow sounds like he might be back. James Houston in recent weeks, even though I get, yes, Dan Campbell was not overly optimistic in what he said about both Gardner-Johnson and Houston, but we start seeing right now, maybe some of this is coach speak. We reported on Lions Talk Live, like I said, 2-3 weeks ago, whenever it was, that both of these gentlemen, and Gardner-Johnson, were looking better and better about returning. We knew that Houston had been cleared by his medical team, not the Detroit Lions medical team. Gardner-Johnson, though, obviously his people cleared him. He kind of alluded to it in social media posts over the last few weeks. And now today we can all say Gardner-Johnson's back. He's going to be slowly worked back in the lineup. I know a bunch of you like Southwest and a number of you guys in the Lions Talk Live morning chat. We've been talking about if he getting more snaps over Tracy Walker just because of his coverage skills. Well, Southwest, I'm going to say all this to you. If he has a good, strong week this week and next week and they put him back on the field against the Vikings, how much better does that automatically make the Detroit Lions secondary? Now you've got somebody who can cover man or zone in Gardner-Johnson. You got Brian Branch. You got Sutton. It starts adding up, and it's just another layer of things. All of a sudden, Aaron Glenn has a few more people to work with. Maybe he can start changing up some of the schemes a little bit more. We can only hope. But with Irvin back, Frank Ragnow back, potentially Houston in the next 14 days, hopefully Aleem McNeil in another 3 weeks, I guess it would be. Sorry, doing the math in my head. But this is just great news, I think, for the Detroit Lions who understand this. They need to win 2 out of these last 4 games. If they're able to do that, they secured the division. They get a home playoff game. And it does seem like, at least potentially, a number of their walking wounded will be back for the playoffs and the big push going down. All right, let's move on down here. See, we got some people in the chat here. Drake, what do you got? This is great news. You were right, Coach. Others doubted you, but dang it, you called to this a few weeks ago. Hey, more than happy to pass on the news. Kurt, first. Well, you might have been second, but you're first in my book. How about that? Papa, what do we got? Now we can. We can win Saturday and get Houston McNeil back. This could add up in a hurry. Yes, it could. You start getting some of these banged up guys back on that team. That defense, which has been depleted by injuries. We all understand they weren't going to be great no matter what, but you know what? They can be a whole lot better with some of these guys back. James, what do you got? Hey, Coach, thanks for the info. No problem at all. Glad to get it to you guys. Robert, hey, good to see you. Heck yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. This is awesome news. Trey, hell yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the mood right now, right? Too bad they can't get them on the field Saturday, but you know what? We'll take what we get. Michael, what do you got? Starting to come together. Pepper, yeah, go, yeah. I'm going to say this, man. I think you're 100% right, Michael. You're starting to get people coming back. And again, I get why they wouldn't want to rush him out too quickly for this game. I think we all get that. He hasn't played in a New York minute. Give him some time to come out there. But he is definitely the charismatic personality out there and the athlete, especially in pass coverage, that would really help out. Again, it's just another layer of possibilities you can put out there on that field. You start getting more pieces. You start being able to move things around on defense. Man, maybe Aaron Glenn can really take this defense up a notch too. Again, we'll see what shakes out, though. Pierce, wait, am I reading this correctly? CJ is back. Yeah, that is correct. Now, I want to say he's not playing Sunday. don't go there with this. But he did return to the Lions today. It sounds like the plan is that he would potentially return for the first Minnesota game a week, after this one or the following weekend. I guess I should just say that. Alan, let's go. Yeah, 100%. One Funky, when CJ said the 20th, he wasn't playing around. No, and that's kind of why I alluded to One Funky earlier. He'd been giving some tidbits here. Like we all talked about for a few weeks now on Lions Talk, that CJ had been talking about kind of giving innuendos on his social media when his projected return date was. We also understood the team told him he had to be back on the field, and it wasn't specifically laid out to me. Did he have to be back on the practice field or on the playing field by the Cowboys game? And I get it. At that point, you've got limited time left to work things around, get ready for the potential playoffs, or I guess a possible playoff game with the Minnesota Vikings in the last game of the regular season, because it is possible whoever wins that game gets the North. So we'll see what happens there. But yes, so Southwest, about a half hour ago, maybe it was a little less than that, but you get the idea, somewhere in that time frame. The Lions put out a post saying that Gardner-Johnson's back, or at least, the Detroit News put out the first piece of information. Dave Burkett, give full disclosures and credit people. I'm not going to rip off somebody else's work and call it as my own. But anyway, he put it out there. Then it's been corroborated from a few other Detroit sources that, yes, Gardner-Johnson's going to return to the practice field this week for the Detroit Lions. He will not play Saturday against the Broncos, and they're going to try to work him in with the idea that potentially he could return to the playing field against the Minnesota Vikings in the first game of the 2 and 3 weeks. All right, Robert, this is beginning our revival. Yes, it could, because, again, he's got the type of energy and personality to really help push us forward. Joseph, I say that he and Aaron Glenn moved Brian Branch to nickel because Gardner-Johnson's coming back, and he wanted to focus more on nickel than for Brian Branch, because that it's possible. I mean, my guess is this didn't just happen, all of a sudden. Probably the higher ups in the Detroit Lions organization, whether you're talking to coaching staff and front office or medical personnel, they've probably been aware of this real possibility for a few weeks. If you go back and listen to Dan Campbell and some of the things he discussed, last week about Gardner-Johnson and Houston's return, I mean, he showed some signs of optimism, and obviously he probably had a pretty good idea of what was potentially going to happen. Southwest, yes. CJ for Vikings, that's what they're kind of soft shoe talking about. Nothing's set in stone. So, I want to be firm with this. That is what is being reported, as he could potentially be back on the field for the first Minnesota Viking game, but nothing set in stone yet. So let's all say, hey, that'd be great if he's out there. But if it's, the following week, then so be it. The following week, then he would have hit that reported time frame we talked about, the last 2 or 3 weeks on Lions Talk Live. So I know I took some backlash for the Houston and CJ Gardner-Johnson remarks, but you know what? It looks like I might have known something about CJ Gardner-Johnson. I'll leave it at that. All right, Robert, what do you got? Block Angela again? If she pops back on, I will, man. Yeah. I've forgotten all about that, Robert, man. All right, JDC, hello all. Hello to you too. Drome, awesome news, Coach. Hopefully this makes an impact to help us win. Yes, I think, you take it, right, because he can hit, he can cover, and he can play man or zone. And, again, we've talked about it for a while with the Lions. The biggest problem is they just can't switch defenses because they don't have the personnel to cover a man. But now what you've done with Tracy Walker and sliding him and Iffy in and out, you add Gardner-Johnson. Maybe the cornerbacks get a little bit better if you can match Jerry Jacobs up with maybe the other team's like number 3 receiver. He might be capable of that, and that might be more fair to him too. But either way, I think we can all see this is good news. Southwest, AG just needs to get his best players out there. Reduce reps for Branch is insane unless he was hurt, which I don't think he was. Yeah, who knows what's going to shake out. I mean, obviously the front office has had some information about this for a while. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten the notice, whatever it was, 2-3 weeks ago or whatever, a month ago, about Gardner-Johnson being issued a deadline of the Cowboys game. He has to be back by, and I do want to be specific in saying I was never told if he had to be back on the playing field or the practice field by then, but he's gonna beat that by 6 days. So that source was pretty spot on with that information. All right, Lion fan, what do you got? Let's go Lions. It ain't over, you dang Skippy. My old good old, yeah, I'll take that, man. Let's see, Southwest Land, the Denver game is going to be a real challenge. I hope they step up their game quite a bit from what we saw in Chicago. Yeah, and it sounds like the offensive line, well, nothing's going to be confirmed until probably Friday, who's going to be in or out, or heck, who even knows, maybe early Saturday. But this is further support that we're starting to get a little healthier. Goff gets more time. He's a better quarterback. I mean, we all get that when he's healthier. But the biggest piece now is the defense. Maybe we do start getting some of those guys back. So maybe the defense we all thought we would have at the beginning of the year, obviously we won't have Emmanuel Mosley back, but it's going to be a whole lot better than what it's been for the last 6 weeks or so. All right, Brett, finally, some good news on the injury front. Getting healthy late in the season gives us a better chance for a deep playoff run. Yeah, and you know what? I'll be real honest. We win the division, win a playoff game. I'm going to call this year a total victory at every front. If we do more than that, then, man, that's just Mountain Dew on top of the ice cream to me. And no, don't really pour your Mountain Dew on top of ice cream. But if you do, I wouldn't blame you. All right, Joseph, thanks for the show, Coach, and thanks for doing this every morning and afternoon with your busy schedule. Go Lions. Hey, no problem, man. I enjoy it, man. Can't be on horribly long because I'm going to get yelled at if I'm not back to work. But anyways, Ken, thanks for the update. Campbell said he needs some time for conditioning. Yeah, to get his feet back under him, get back into football shape, 100%. And again, they never clarified to me, or the information I got, a month ago, whenever it was never clear about did they need him back on the playing field by the 20th or a game. So I would say this: it looks like he's going to be playing potentially for the first Minnesota game. If not, then I would definitely say by the Cowboys game. We'll see what shakes out, but this is great news. I think we all get that part. All right, Southwest Line, those of us who have criticized AG aren't going to like this take, but I think AG is a big part of why CJ came here. Could be, man. I mean, I don't think that's probably missed on anybody. And I would say this: Gardner-Johnson plays well the rest of the season and makes an impact. I think the Lions probably will push to resign him. Tracy Walker, Southwest, you and I and everybody on the chat have talked about this for a while. Tracy Walker's a great guy. He's great at certain aspects of the game. He would be an awesome weak side linebacker if you could add about 10, 15 pounds to him. Not saying they're going to do that, but I also don't think Tracy Walker fits the contract he has. And if they were going to get rid of him and keep Gardner-Johnson, I think I'd be happy with that. All right, Robert, is he going to sport his new name on his jersey? That I couldn't answer for you. I'll leave that to the Lions personnel department. All right, Ken, with Southwest, CJ said as much. AG is like a father to him. Yeah, so that's a good point you guys have there. Spot on. Agreed, Southwest. Yeah. Does he go by Creedy Deuce now? That I don't know, guys. That I don't. Robert, I guess we'll have to wait and see. 100%. Yeah. Dave, what do you got? Responsible reporting is so boring. Speculating widely is much more fun. Absolutely. I'll go with you there. Joseph, good deal. Then maybe we'll have all of our players back for the playoffs. Can't wait. I'm excited. Yeah, I think this is great news. Hitting it absolutely a great time for the Detroit Lions. And if we can compile this with a victory Saturday, boy, I think you'll see the Lions fan base reinvigorated once again. Robert, he will fire up the team so much. Yeah, 1,000%. JDC, born and bred to rip and shred. Go Lions. I like that, man. I might use that sometime. Southwest Dan, you made it clear. You're just saying it's a possibility, but they definitely needed his leadership. 100%. Yeah, but, I mean, you guys all know how it is. We've seen some haters in here, and trust me, I get tons of people that send me texts or calls or emails or whatever, just yelling and screaming at me. And hey, if you're happy with that in life, going that way, then go for it. I'm aware there's probably a few YouTube channels rolling over in their Mountain Dew right now, hating me for that report I put out a few weeks ago because they blew me up pretty hard. One funky, I wonder if Iffy will see some snaps at cornerback now. That's an idea. I remember that's what he was in college. I don't think he's been worse than Jacobs has been. I think the only problem with Iffy, and I think ultimately why they moved him to corner, was because if you watch his hip movement, his flexibility there, it's hard for him, at least from when I've watched him and reviewed him, it's hard for him to make certain breaks or turns, at least fluidly. He's not bad, but I don't think he's a whole lot different than Jerry Jacobs. And then you probably don't ever want either one of them going back to being your number 2 corner, maybe even number 3. But could they be a sustainable number 3 or 4 in the NFL? Probably. And that would be more fair to them. Day, CD Deuce and Houston potentially coming back was the only real hope I had left for this season. Well, You got half the hope back then, man. Along if they can get some more wins. All right, Derwin, let's go bench Jacobs, please. I mean, I guess that's a question with this news now that's official. And once CJ gets healthy and back into playing shape, yada yada, do you have him and Kirby as your safeties? Move Brian Branch maybe to the outside, and then maybe Iffy or Jerry Jacobs inside. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see on things. One Southwest, one funky. I take Iffy over Jacobs at cornerback in a New York minute. All right, fair enough. Iffy for sure. All right, Day just in time. Especially Jefferson is going to be back for the Vikings game by then. Yes, I was hoping he'd at least miss the first one, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Due afternoon, Derwin. It is a great due day. Hopefully, having a due afternoon too. Southwest line. I heard Jefferson might play against the Bengals. I think he will, and I'm hoping the Bengals still win because man, that would really put Minnesota in a bad spot if that happens. Detroit, what do you got? CJ is a dog on defense that needs swag back badly. Yes, they need him in a bad way. Wolf, Lions need CJ desperately. Well, I got good news for you. He's back, buddy. Southwest, Detroit Matt. Detroit Matt. This whole team needs a shot in the swag confidence. Agreed. Brent. CJ is our junkyard dog on a chain. Love his swagger. Go Lions. Agreed. Sir Richard, what happens with Hooker if they don't take off IR? How do we protect him? So when Hooker gets done with his 20-day window, which I want to say there's like 10 days left on it. Don't hold me to that. I'm just doing it in my head. Hey, if they're not going to activate him, then he's going on the long-term IR for the rest of the season. So they'll be fine. There's no way he's getting snagged. All right, Robert, who is going to be at the game Saturday night? I will not be for this game, so apologies for that, but I will not be. Broski, what up, Dan? You're a good host and seems like a level-headed and knowledgeable guy. Keep it up. Good work. Thanks, man. Thanks for that. Always glad to have you in there, even if you're poking fun. Robert, I think you will see the Lions from earlier this season Saturday night. Let's hope so, because they really need it. Gary, what's up with Gilmore? Couldn't answer you. I'm guessing the coaches just haven't seen enough out of him, put him in, and that's a little surprising at times. All right, JDC, woo! Just practicing for this weekend. Let's go. Yeah, I'll be dropping a few woos if we win. A couple Ric Flairs for you. Paul, Vikings have no offense without Kirk Cousins. I hope that stays true. Let's not have them get jump-started against the Bengals or us in the next couple of games. Brent, thanks for the update, Coach. Appreciate you taking time for us, Lions family. Anytime, man. I enjoy you guys, and you guys are like family to me, man. Dan, people are calling Dan's phone and messing him. Yeah, they do, man. I was thinking of doing that as a joke. That's okay if it's as a joke, man. It's when people try to go over the top of things. Saying I was looking for a lot of real estate for free or pay me to take land off someone's hands. Hey, I'll help you in either way, man. Ken, hey, folks, don't forget that. Hit that like button. Yeah, I can't see on this screen what's at, but if you guys haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Trying to get to 4,800 before kickoffs Saturday, and if you would, hit the like button as well. That'd be great. All right, two more here. Joseph, because the way they had everything set up for the first game of the year, I mean, the defense was set up right, but man, Brian Branch's position, I mean, he rocked in that game. Yeah, I got to imagine. I don't see why they really would take away any reps from him or snaps, but who knows, man. Anyways, Paul, Lions clinched this week with a win or tie. Ooh, I like that. Sir Richard, when do we wear the new helmets again? Don't ask me on that one. I don't know. All right, Robert, all I can say is you do a great job, Dan. Thanks for that, guys. Thank you very much for that. One funky, Hooker has never been in IR or has been in the NFL list, which is slightly different. If he goes back to the NFI, I didn't see what you're saying there with the Lions will lose a year of contract control. It would make no sense to put him back in. Yeah, I mean, they'll handle all that. All I'm saying is there's no way they're going to let somebody be able to take him. All right, guys, got the breaking news out to you guys. I got to get back to work before coaching and all that stuff. So hope you all take care. If there's some breaking news, it's probably going to have to come, if I get on the mic again, it'll have to come later in the day because I'll be gone for the next several hours with stuff. Hope you all have a great one. If there's some more breaking news, I'll try to get it out to you if I can. Otherwise, see you all in the morning on Lions Talk Live. Take care, guys.